Imagine you have a web app. Now you want to deploy the web app. How to do that? We have couple of options. You can deploy it by buying a bare metal server, which is actual server you will operate in your room or store, and you will deploy your code there. This is an option, but it is expensive because you have to buy the actual hardware, infrastructure, and you have to maintain it by your own. Then you have to deploy the code, you have to write deploy scripts, deploy steps. Or you can buy a virtual machine from any cloud provider like DigitalOcean, AWS, or any other cloud provider. You manage the machine, you maintain it, you write the deploy script, and deploy your code there to give service. To optimize the deployment process and to avoid repetition, you might go for containers as well. For example, you can use Docker or any other container service. This is also an option, but you still need to know certain amount of deployment skills to do that. And we have another option called serverless. In serverless, you actually abstract all the deployment process and you just focus on your business logic. You just focus on writing the code, you give the code to a cloud provider, and they maintain all the things necessary to deploy the app, to maintain the app, to keep the app running. And as a developer, you only write the code, and the code just executes on demand. The term serverless might confuse some people. They might be thinking they don't need any server, but it's not true. Every application or service definitely need a server, but as a developer you don't need to bother about it. That's what it is. When it comes to serverless, all the major cloud providers follows an event driven architecture where on certain events, suppose it's a user click or it could be an API call, certain functions gets triggered. So basically you are writing functions and they're responding to different events and executing your code. And that's how serverless works. Now let's talk about some benefits of serverless architecture. The obvious benefit is no server management. Developers don't handle infrastructure. The cloud provider automatically manages provisioning, scaling, and maintenance. Then comes automatic scaling. Functions scale up or down instantly based on demand, ensuring optimal performance during traffic spikes. Pay as you go pricing. You only pay for the actual compute time, no cost for idle servers. Faster time to market. Simplified deployment allows developers to focus on building features instead of maintaining infrastructure. Built in availability and fault tolerance. The provider ensures high availability and handles failover automatically. Event driven execution. Ideal for applications responding to triggers, such as API calls, file uploads, database events. Improved developer productivity enables smaller focused code functions that are easier to test, deploy, and maintain. Global accessibility. Functions can run closer to end users using distributed cloud regions, reducing latency. Now let's look at the drawbacks. Cold start latency. Functions may take extra time to start after being idle, causing delays for infrequent requests. Limited execution time. Functions often have a maximum runtime. For example, AWS Lambda has 15 minutes of runtime. Vendor lock in. Difficult to migrate between providers due to proprietary APIs and configurations. Complex debugging. Harder to trace issues since infrastructure is abstracted and distributed. Resource limitations. constraints on memory, CPU, and execution environments, unpredictable costs. High frequency events or poor optimization can lead to unexpected billing spikes, security and compliance challenges. Shared infrastructure and hidden backend layers can complicate data security or auditing. So, if you are going for serverless, you must design your architecture very carefully, especially when writing the code, because all focus goes on the code. So, you have to write very optimized codes to avoid unnecessary challenges. So, that was for today. Let's see you in another video.